Shalom, Shalom. This Shair from GMS Savannah, Georgia. Come with another lesson. But first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Yikach Radash, and double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, which rule well and teach well, and to the ark and pushing this woman sent truth out of the Bible, the four corners of the earth, in sincerity while risking their lives. And to you elect of you so-called um, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and speckled birds scattered amongst the heathens that have the appearance of the heathens that are also called Israelite foreigners. Shalom. But today's lesson I'm going into is this wicked entertainer. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, the way he carried on and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later, things gonna catch up with him, man. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh gonna Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai gonna sit his ass down. You know, sooner or later, because he's been doing a lot of wickedness. And so right here, this is everybody know the rapper right here, Lil Nas X. The article says Lil Nas X sparked concern after sharing hospital snap and revealing he has lost control of his right side of his face. Uh, It says rapper Lil Nas X sparked concerns amongst his fans after claiming that he had lost control of the side of his face. And you know that's him right there. You know, just wickedness, man. Sooner or later, you know, all that folly you've been doing here in Babylon, you know, to get your consolation on this side, hey, it catches up with you sooner or later, man. You know, the wickedness has a time where it runs out on a lot of you, 2/3, and wicked people here in Babylon, man, that love this place, man. You know, this is what happens to you, when you here in Babylon, you know, that's what happens, you know, that's what happens. They say in the clip he revealed that he was struggling to do a full smile. It's like I can't even laugh right now, bro. He said, "What?" And then he gonna say, "Oh my God." Really? Yeah, man. Yeah, he don't. Yeah, I guess anybody can say God. What God does he serve? That's the main thing. What God did he serve? Because he sure ain't serving Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Most likely Jeebus, because they say with Jeebus you come as you are. You know, it's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say in them Baptist churches. Come as you are. You know, love, 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 which is a bunch of BS. And then right here it says short clip was captured. So lost control of the right side of my face. And it says scores of fans underrated the music star with well wishes. Yeah, Babylon gonna love a wicked, Israelite here in Babylon. That's the wickedness. They love wickedness, man. All the videos and stuff he been doing is this wicked and against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Look what happened to him, man. Carried on the ways of Babylon, man. And it said you're a happy and a humorous person, but we are all concerned. What said, don't play with God again. Another chime. I pray that you heal quickly. Sending all positive energies your way. Get well soon. The third fan wrote. You know, and he tried to assure his fans stop being sad for me. He said, I'm gonna look funny for a bit, but that's it. You know, and like I say, hey, that's this guy right here. You know, that's him without his his affliction on his face, you know, from his wickedness. You know what I'm saying? But sooner or later, your wickedness gonna catch up with you, man. That goes for all you entertainers, man. Sooner or later, things gonna catch up with you. And let's hit some scriptures right here. Well, first of all, before I get into it, this is what he got right here: Bell's palsy. It's certain weakness of the muscles on the side, half of the face, and Bell palsy may be a reaction to a viral infection. It rarely occurs more than once. You know what I'm saying? But we know what caused that. We know. That's all I got to say. We know. You get it? And right here, we're gonna start right here. Hebrews 10:31. It says it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Because sooner or later your wickedness gonna catch up with you because you don't fear the Lord, man. You carry on and carry on and carry on. You lucky you didn't get sent to the spirit realm. But like they say, the Israelites have a chance to repent, and the Israelites own it. So he still got a chance to repent and come out of there and come back to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Hey, he still got a chance. He's still here. So we shall see. He'll go right back doing what he been doing. Hey man, we already know what the outcome gonna be because the Lord ain't gonna have no pity on him. It's gonna be worse the second time. And Exodus 23:2, thou shalt not follow the multitude to do either. Neither shall they speak in their cause and decline after many to rest judgment. And like I say, he followed the multitude to do evil. A lot of people back in that time, 2020, had to anticipate. And a lot of people have, got that. You know what I'm saying? Are dealing with that. I think Justin, you know what I'm saying? Justin B, he was dealing with that. And, a couple of other people, man, So, hey, don't follow the multitude to do evil. And like I say, this goes for the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites. Proverbs 1:7. Fear the Lord is the beginning knowledge, but fools despise the wisdom and the instructions. And that's what happens, man. You don't fear the Lord. All these celebrities, man, you getting your consolation on this side. And you're going to be called less in the kingdom. And, hey, a lot of times you out of here. You can't enjoy that money like you want to. You know what I'm saying? You got used and abused and your time is up. So, like I say, that's a stumbling block for all the Israelites out there, man. Everybody want to have a name and be famous, man. So, you're going to have to make decisions. And like I say, sooner or later, sooner or later, the hour of temptation gonna come, man, for everybody in Babylon, And so, it's coming for all you ones that over here got money, riches, and got a name, That time is right around the corner. It's coming very soon. And right here, Ecclesiastes 12:10, never trust thy enemies, for like iron rusted, so is his wickedness. And that's what happens when you trust thy enemies, man. You want the money. You listen. To those the forges of evil, man. You know what I'm saying? Paraphrase. Physicians are no value. And so that's how you get caught up, man. And People that has, anticipated, hey, this is what could come on to you. It could be worse. But you want to have a name for yourself, man. You know. And like I say, you've been doing a lot of stuff, and the Lord just sick of it, man. He has a time that his judgment it came upon him, and it did. And I'm gonna finish it up right here on this last one right here, 1 John 2:15. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. Just a little quick lesson. And right here, 1 John 2:15 say, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him." And that goes to all these celebrities that here in Babylon getting their consolation on this side, all of them. You know, the love of the Father is not in them. None of them. They say they go and say, "I want to thank God," but what God is? It's other false gods out there. You're not talking about Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You have to say the name. We know the name now. The name was here from us, but we know now. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's the strong tower. That is the strong tower for the Hebrew Israelites, the elect. You know what I'm saying? The 1/3. That's the strong tower, man. Saying God, you talking about somebody else. You know. We know the name. We 100% we know the name. And if you in this world, and you getting riches, the love of the Father is not in you. You love Babylon the Great. And like I say, you getting your consolation on this side, and you'll be called less in the kingdom, man. The elect, the ones that love Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man, those are the ones that's going to be, in righteousness and rulership, man. The elect. And everybody else is going to be under that. You just be a Israelite in the kingdom, man. But you got your consolation on this side. But like I say, sooner or later, all you celebrities out there and athletes, and anybody with a name, your wickedness gonna catch up with you sooner or later. In 2025, it's only the beginning. It's gonna be a lot that's gonna happen in 2025, and it's a lot going on, and it's gonna continue to go on, man. Everybody, don't fear the Lord, man. All kind of stuff gonna happen to you. We see that on the news. We let you know what's going on out here. All the wickedness that's going about here in Babylon. But I ain't surprised when these celebrities, man, get judgment, man. It's like, wow, finally, all the wickedness, this guy been doing. Sooner or later it caught up with him, man. But hey, you still got people out there that's big fans of it, man. With him and his wickedness. And then somebody said, "Hey, don't play with God. Play with God." Hey, you don't play with Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai. That's who you don't play with. Cause like I say, man, the angels, man, they report everything, man. And sooner or later, man, hey, your time come up. And then here come a judgment put on you, man. And like I say, you still here, you got a chance to repent, man. The Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, the only people that can repent. The only people that can repent, man. So, you wicked Israelites out there, you better repent before it's too late. The spiritual doors of Noah is closing. Noah's Ark is closing. Times for it to get worse and worse out here, man. Hey, you don't have the covering Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you finished. You done. You left out in the open. And you're going to be finished. You're going to be finished, man. You know, you're gonna be left here, man. Hey, it's, can't take your money and all your cars and your houses with you. You know, all that's gonna be left here. You go down right along with it. You know, you want to follow the wickedness of Babylon. You know, that's what's gonna happen to you. You know, more and more and more. It's only the beginning. You know, but everybody always want to be rich, 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 and have a name here in Babylon, man. The hell with that, man. The elect, we are here to serve Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, the ones that are called to blow the trumpet out here, man. Be the prophets out here on the highways and byways, man, to warn our people, man, to repent. You know, with straight fear on them that, you know, we the prophets of doom and gloom. 100%. You know, to warn y'all, man, that, hey, things are revving up. Time is speeding up. You know, fear the Lord. I hope this was edifying to the sheep and lambs. Kwan Yasharala on to the next lesson. Repent before it's too late. Shalom.